Well, Naledi, several buses over the past 30 minutes have arrived here at the Marabastad bus depot here in the city of Tshwane. And as you can see here behind me, there's quite a large police presence ahead of that march that the ANC is terming Buya Tshwane, the People's March. Now, the ANC is basically saying that the past 7 years of the DA coalition lead here in the city of Tshwane has basically been characterized by maladministration, corruption, as well as a lack of service delivery. What the ANC is basically saying this march will characterize, will also indicate, is that the DA-led coalition service delivery has been skewed away from the poorest of the poor here in the city of Tshwane. Quite a large police presence. I think more than 3 or 4 buses with members of the ANC have already arrived here. And quite ironically, as you pointed out as well, Naledi, this morning the council is also expected to elect a new mayor while this march is taking place. Of course, you'd recall this is as a result of embattled Mr. Makwarela's shenanigans pertaining to the insolvency, a rehabilitation certificate pertaining to his insolvency, which was understood to be fake. Of course, the courts had indicated this at the height of what was taking place around who is now the former mayor, Murunwa Makwarela. And subsequent to that, you also saw the election of a speaker as well. The ATM councillor, Mzwanana, was elected as speaker. And you would know that 69 of the votes in that particular sitting was said to be spoiled after the DA had marked their ballots differently to indicate their preferred candidate. The IEC also indicating that that process itself was flawed and basically disqualified those votes and saying that that process had contravened voting procedure and that those 69 votes, as I indicated, were spoiled after the DA had marked those ballots differently to indicate their preferred candidate. So you'd know as a result of that, some other political parties as well, including the EFF, have also opened a case of electoral fraud against the Democratic Alliance, just one of the political parties that has done so. So ironically here in the city of Tshwane, while this Buya Tshwane march is taking place, you'll have a look. I'll ask my colleague Herbert Memela to point towards this direction. You see the quite a strong police contingent has been brought in here. It seems like from the few moments that I have been on air, Naledi, many other members of the ANC have also arrived just on the other side of this police contingent here. And I think at the center of this, Naledi, is that you would know that a number of areas in the city of Tshwane have been beset by service delivery challenges. You'd know that the ANC has indicated, or it says, that the DA coalition, led coalition here has been marred by maladministration as well as lack of basic services. Questions raised about, you know, the ongoing issues of water in places like Hammanskraal, in areas like Soshanguve as well as Mamelodi, where residents have continuously complained over a lack of services in those areas. So the ANC is basically saying that the DA-led coalition here over the past 7 years has skewed a service delivery away from poor communities, including the ones that I have just mentioned. So we're expecting this march to be led by the Secretary General of the ANC, Fikile Mbalula, and a number of other members of the ANC, senior members of the ANC at a provincial level are expected to join this march as well. So we'll head from here towards that direction where this sitting is taking place for the election of a new mayor. So we'll certainly have to see how all of that pans out. But there is quite a large police presence here as the numbers of ANC members continue to be brought in, bussed into this area ahead of the start of this march.
Yeah, I'm quite taken aback by the numbers of law enforcement behind you there, Chriselda, and maybe you can talk to us about just how extensive that really is. One would think that perhaps this is even a precursor to what we might expect on Monday when we've got that planned national shutdown by the EFF. But I'm also keen to hear, are we seeing a memorandum being handed over here by the African National Congress at the city of Tshwane, and then to who?
You know, I find it quite funny that you ask me that, Naledi, because just before I went to air, one of the community members around here had made the very same remark and said, could this be a dress rehearsal for the national shutdown of the EFF, which is expected to take place on Monday, and whether, this would be a dress rehearsal for the police. You would know, of course, a lot of remarks have been made about the national shutdown, who's involved, who is not involved, what is going to be expected there, what happens in an instance where the march turns violent. The EFF has categorically stated, you recall, in that press briefing by the Commander-in-Chief of the EFF, saying that they're not calling for any violence. What they want to do is to peacefully demonstrate against many of the challenges that the country is currently facing. So that remark, or what you're asking me, comes just shortly after that remark by a community member here. There is quite a very strong police presence right here behind me. I've also just seen a few moments ago a police nyala has also been brought in addition to the police officers here behind me. And we're not sure whether a memorandum is going to be handed over, Naledi. We'll have to see what happens once we head towards that direction, and once the march itself starts, we'll probably get an indication of exactly what is expected to take place. Yeah. But that was one of the things that I really did think about, just before going to air, and after that community member had made that remark, was that with such a large police presence here, would this be a dress rehearsal for the national shutdown, which is taking place on Monday? And I know already this afternoon, the Minister of Police, General Fikile, is expected to be here in Pretoria. I understand, if I just take a look at my telephone, what I had been sent by his office pertains to this afternoon. What they will do is be in this area trying to assess what is needed for Monday. The General Fani Masimola is also visiting several areas today to assess, or to ensure that Gauteng police are ready for Monday's shutdown. That was taking place since 8 o'clock this morning and this afternoon from a release that was just sent out by the office of the Minister of Police, General Fikile. The National Joint Operation and Intelligence Structure, NAT Joints, will update the nation on safety and security measures taking place in light of that march taking place, or national shutdown, on Monday. And this is taking place this afternoon. So we'll certainly get a sense of exactly how many police are going to be deployed, how police are going to try and restore law and order. You've heard from quite a number of institutions, including the taxi associations, that they are not participating in Monday's shutdown. But certainly, if you take a look here behind me, quite a large police presence. Many have remarked about whether this is a dress rehearsal for Monday's shutdown, which is expected by the EFF. But we'll get a clearer idea, as I indicated, Naledi, this afternoon from the Nat Joints in that press briefing about what the issue is. But in terms of what is taking place here, we were expecting the gathering itself, to people to start arriving here at 10 o'clock, and they will march towards that direction where the EFF, basically the ANC has indicated that it is unhappy with the 7 years of the DA-led coalition in this particular area. The issues that I have raised, allegations of maladministration, corruption, as well as poor service delivery, and that has basically been what the ANC says will characterize its Buya Tshwane People's March here today. Yeah.